Maurice, Nicol, Psychological Commentary, Volume 5, Amwell, May 20, 1953. The neutralizing force of the work. It is difficult to find the neutralizing force of the work. A long search for it is inevitable. Everyone having attained sufficient conviction that the work is something real and that it leads to a goal has to enter upon this search alone, for himself or for herself. It can never be communicated in a direct way any more than taste of an apple can to anyone who has never tasted one. The long period of search for the neutralizing force of the work begins when you realize that you are not working in the right way. This realization is a passing feeling, a momentary taste. It is not a thought. That anyone can think that he or she is not working in the right way, especially people who make a habit of and enjoy worrying about anything and everything. But I'm speaking of an emotion, an inner taste, a swift emotional insight, and not a thought. You do not know, but feel you are not doing the work right. Observe that I am not saying that you feel how to do the work aright, but that you feel that you are not doing it aright. For a moment, you're not told what is right. Not only that something is wrong, this is the way the work, it's the way of the work, once it has begun to act on you. It does not indicate what you must do, but it may give you a quick feeling of dislike or for what you are doing. It checks you for a moment. It is left for you to find out what you should do. To be told what you must do would be much like a compulsion and useless, for compulsion does not lead to inner development. To do a thing because of compulsion is very different from doing it from understanding. It is only through understanding, which means seeing for yourself why a thing is necessary, that inner development can take place. And eventually, let me say here, that you have to see the work, you have to see for yourself why the work is necessary for you. This brings you closer to the right attitude to it. Since the work teaches us that as long as life is the sole neutralizing force acting on us, the personality will remain active and essence passive. It is necessary to seek another neutralizing force. A passive essence cannot grow. This means that there will be no growth of essence as your life goes on, beyond the partial growth that took place early in childhood. In that case, you live and die unfinished, an experiment in self-development that has failed to complete itself. Of course, if life did complete us, esoteric teaching would not exist. The essence becoming more and more thickly surrounded by personality may even be cut off from it. You're then dead. Personality now rules you, and you will lose the power of thinking for yourself amongst many other things. Only another and different neutralizing force coming from esotericism can alter this situation and eventually reverse it. The other and different neutralizing force in our case is the work. Its origin is outside life. It does not mean that it immediately to you will come in contact with the work. This change or this reversal takes place as some imagine. Far from it. For years, you will still use neutralizing force of life and think from life about the work. You will not think about life from the work. This is one of the difficulties. You cannot help working from the personality for a long time, and so your efforts will be from the wrong place in yourself. from the wrong motives. Without the strength of new thinking from the ideas of the work, you will be trying to make personality passive by means of personality. But after a time, you may begin to see that this is so, to some extent, owing to brief feelings that things are not quite right with you. As I said, it is difficult and needs a long search to find the neutralizing force of the work, the force which eventually makes personality passive. Meditating on how the personality with its acquired prejudices, imitated attitudes, buffers, and all its mechanical reactions surrounds essence like a highly fortified circular wall. We may well see what is chiefly imprisoning us. It guards itself. Consider how you retaliate resentfully. It is active, that is, it is in charge of you. The part of us that can grow after personality is formed sufficiently is now shut in to a small cottage within this wall, which we take as ourselves. It is not strange that we have to build up this wall, brick by brick. In the first part of our lives, we strongly as possible, and then take it down again in the second part and enlarge it, build on it, the cottage with some of these bricks, reinforced by the false personality with this inexhaustible powers of deceiving the personality, which is the wall, can very easily take up the work in such a way as to make a person believe that he or she is working from the new neutralizing force of the work, whereas all the time he or she is working from the old neutralizing force of life. Perhaps he or she desires to excel or to be thought of, to have mysterious powers and so on. But whatever the motive, if people continue to work from the personality and thus from the motives belonging to the neutralizing force of life, the work cannot take proper root. If they never experience peculiar, transient feelings that they are not working aright, they can get stuck. They need a shock. One reason for this is that they do not see any truth in the work for themselves. They speak of the work from memory, but not from the perception of its truth. To see truth acts as a shock, which they do not give themselves. This is because the order of truth taught by the work can only be understood by the more interior divisions of centers and not by the outer divisions where the sensual mind is lodged. The work is not sensual truth. The soil of the sensual mind is not suitable for the seeds of the work to grow in it. It can remember the teaching of the work, but not understand it. Now, if you never see for yourself and understand the truth of any single one of the ideas taught by the work, you have no point in the work, as it is called. Within you, everything shifts like sand in the desert. There is nothing to hold on to. To have no point in the work, even after years of contact, and to make no determined attempt to find one, but to continue to listen to your own objections and skepticism is a state of affairs that can never be expected to attract the neutralizing force of the work. The attitude is all wrong, so personality will remain dominant in you as an experiment, and it will fail. Again, to pretend to have a point in the work will do nothing. Do nothing towards lessening the power of the personality. The truths of this work can free us from the personality, but not if you pretend to see them and value them and secretly do not. Again, to try to do the work or to teach it from the eyes trained from your daily life work or profession will certainly not be teaching or doing it from the right place. The attitude is at fault. You will be pouring the work into old bottles. You will speak from the wrong eyes. Again, a man ambitious in life cannot switch his ambitions in life. Eyes straight on to the work. He cannot, as it were, say, come on, boys, let's get this little job of self-change cleared up in no time. A successful man or woman may feel that they seem able to do in life. They can equally do in the work. But that feeling cannot be transferred directly onto the work, save wrongly. It is a feeling typical of the false personality which always thinks it can do. But you cannot put self-love and self-esteem first in the work. The work is not like that. The work is difficult to woo and instantly see anything false in your declaration of love. For the work to respond and affect its gradual miracle of making personality passive and causing essence to develop, you have to woo it and love its teaching genuinely. You will never eventually begin to find the neutralizing force of the work. You will also begin to understand why it was once said that unless you become as little children, you cannot enter the circle of conscious humanity, which even as a person of highly developed personality, but with undeveloped essence, cannot enter. You will begin to see the reason why he cannot.